Real quick. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Joe Wineflash. I'm your Master of Ceremonies for the 2022 North Carolina Wing Conference General Assembly. All attendees are muted, as I was, automatically with the team live event configuration. On behalf of our Wing Commander, Colonel Ed Angelovich, I want to welcome you to the 2022 North Carolina Wing Conference. We will have visitors from 7 regions, 16 wings. We're glad you can make it with us. So wherever you are, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance as I lead you in it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will now have our invocation by our chaplain, Steve Matthews. Sir.
Good morning, everyone. As I pray according to my faith, I invite you to do the same. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the chance to gather together. We thank you for those who have gone on before us, for the impact they have made in our lives. We thank you for the chance to serve our neighbors and to improve our world through our service in the Civil Air Patrol. We ask for your providence on our meetings today. Will you guide all who lead and all who follow and all who serve so that we may bring our best efforts to the work entrusted to us. We pray for your protection on all who serve under arms and for your wisdom on those who lead our nation. In your name I pray. Amen. As we gather together to celebrate our year of accomplishments and service, it is fitting that we pause a moment to remember those members who have left us in the past year. Colonel Harold Schaefer, Lieutenant Colonel Joseph Myers, Lieutenant Colonel Philip Salit, Lieutenant Colonel Raymond Kleber, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Wood, Captain Gary Moore, First Lieutenant William Loomis, Cadet First Lieutenant Tristan O'Connor.
Thank you, Chaplain. And we'll now have a safety briefing by Lieutenant Colonel Chris Dumel, former North Carolina Wing Safety Officer. Boomer?
Good morning, North Carolina Wing. I'll even be nice and turn my camera on so y'all can see me. theoretically. I'm not going to take a lot of time. I'll go over real quick the risk assessment we conducted for this event. Being as this is a virtual event, everything I'm going to talk about has to do with that. We identified 3 hazards: the potential for virus infections, potential hacker attacks, and misuse of your financial data. The controls we isolated were utilizing your proper antivirus software and make sure that's installed on each individual machine, whether it's a corporate computer or your own personal. That's just kind of smart. Firewalls should help you with any kind of potential hacker attacks. Install and use the appropriate firewall for that as well. And finally, if you're like most people, including myself, if you do a lot of shopping via Amazon or any other online shopping site, make sure that your data is being used responsibly and protect your financial information. Use those sites that are trusted. Some notes that came across from my corporate were just to give y'all some heads up for the future. The security trends for 2022 that came out of my company. I thought I'd cover these real quick. Number one is the use of ransomware and malware. These are going to continue to increase and will compromise, data in organizations around the world. Mostly interested in companies. We saw several hacker attacks over the last year. This is not expected to decline. Mobile malware attacks are going to start targeting more individuals, and this is where they're looking for your financial data and your individual information. A lot of companies are using the bring your own device to work policies, so that's going to allow more access to your corporate networks. So just be careful with that sort of thing. Watch out for ransomware, mobile spyware, Trojans. Cryptocurrency is going to start to become a problem. So if you're investing in cryptocurrency, again, be careful with that. It's very volatile. And finally, we're going to more sophisticated phishing and social engineering tactics. Captain Lane and our IT staff have already isolated several of those over the past week. So, pay attention really closely and look at your, when you get an email and is it something you're expecting, or is it, does it have a weird link in it? Be more questioning with your email. And with that note, I'm going to conclude the safety briefing and turn it back over to Colonel Wineflash. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chris. Really do appreciate that. It's very encompassing. That bit currency stuff is really getting interesting on all fronts. So that's pretty interesting stuff. Let us see here. It's my pleasure to introduce our official party and distinguished guests for today's event. It's an honor to have these individuals join us for this virtual event, and although it's virtual, I can kind of see them. Our official party is Brigadier General Regina A. She's, of course, the Civil Air Patrol Civil Air Patrol Commander. Then we have Colonel Jason Bailey, who is the Executive Officer for Civil Air Patrol National, and then Colonel Ragland, who has quite the little resume. Colonel Ragland is a member of Civil Air Patrol Board of Governors, past National Executive Officer, past Middle East Region Commander, and past North Carolina Wing Commander. Also we have, I don't want to make sure I get this right, Colonel Frank Blazich, Civil Air Patrol National Historian, and the host of the 2022 North Carolina Wing Conference, Colonel Ed Angelovich. Mr. Will Ray, Director of the Division of Emergency Management, North Carolina Department of Public Safety, will be here with us. And of course, Colonel Eugene Egri, Vice Commander, Mid-Atlantic Region, will be standing in for Colonel Heinlein. And it wouldn't be complete without Chief Master Sergeant Todd Parsons, Mid-Atlantic Region Command Chief and National Command Chief Select. We congratulate him for that. Also, Senior Master Sergeant Chris Gunny Kerr, North Carolina Wing Command NCO. We also have Christina Jones, who is in charge of philanthropy over at Civil Air Patrol National, Colonel Jack Ozer, former Northeast Region Commander, Colonel James Cavell, Mid-Atlantic Region Chief of Staff, Colonel J.D. Ellis, Mid-Atlantic DCS Senior Programs, and of course, Here at home in the North Carolina wing, the command staff and group commanders, we have Lieutenant Colonel Brendan Kearns, Vice Commander, as well as Lieutenant Colonel Jeff Foke, also Vice Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Dennis Bissell, Chief of Staff, and our 6 group commanders from Group 1, Lieutenant Colonel Carlisle Lincoln, and Major Al Griffa from Group 2, Major Kim Morton from Group 3, Major Chad Hooper from Group 4, Lieutenant Colonel Craig Richardson from Group 5, and of course, Major Jason Cheek from Group 6. And so to open up everything really officially, I'm proud to introduce our commander, Colonel Ed Angelovich. Sir, it's all yours.
Well, thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. And welcome General A, Colonel Bailey, Colonel Ragland, Mr. Ray, Colonel Egri, Chief Parsons, Colonel Blazich, and Colonel Phillips. I'd be remiss if I didn't also welcome the CAP USAF team, as well as the North Carolina Emergency Management team that is online today as well with us. The region commanders, former, current wing commanders. We are across 16 wings broadcasting this morning, and as well as, of course, our very dedicated North Carolina wing members. Welcome, and thank you for joining us today. It is an honor for me to be here with you this morning and open up our 2022 Wing Conference. And I'm also very thankful for the planners of this conference, as they were visionaries and predicted, I don't know how they did it, but they predicted we would need to be virtual for this conference, our second virtual conference again. Hopefully you are hearing me. I'm getting a text that there's no audio, but if I could have some sign that you are hearing me, I would appreciate it. I'll continue here. It sounds like I'm good. Thank you. There is putting on a conference like this at this scale takes a lot of work, a lot of planning, and did I say a lot of work? And so it is a lot of coordinating, planning. And so as such, I'd like to right up front give a shout out to all those visionary planners of this conference. And thank you all to Lieutenant Colonels Joe Weinflash, Brendan Kearns, Jeff Foke, Chris Dumel, Shelley Gonzalez, and also Majors Al Griffa, Jim Fitzpatrick, Kim Morton, Liz Dunster, and of course our IT expert, Captain John Lane, and as well as all the supporting team that put this production on. We have a great conference lined up for you today. We have distinguished speakers. We also have 30 seminars that have subject matter experts to take you through the variety of topics, as well as the recognition of cadet and senior members. Next slide, please. So 2021 was, yes, another year of the COVID experience. But while we had its COVID challenges, North Carolina Wing had accomplished a great deal and have had many achievements to celebrate. And you'll remember Colonel Heinlein's leadership and vision for us last year at this time, where we were dealing with the pandemic, of course, and he said, for 2021, we need to emerge the force. We need to engage and drive our cadet programs forward. And we need to expand our capabilities and readiness, as well as provide and expand the pandemic relief. Well, Team NC Wing, you certainly have turned that vision into reality. So next slide, please. So get ready, because here is North Carolina Wing's top 10 amazing achievements that help serve our communities and nation by saving lives and shaping futures. Next slide. Number 10, not letting COVID stand in the way of our cadet aerospace education, fun and learning. Our squadrons got on the ground floor of a new and innovative internal CAPSTEM project initiative and participated in the inaugural CAP National AE High Altitude Balloon Challenge. This event project became a race among the squadrons because they wanted to submit their experiments and work towards winning the first CAP Kittinger Cup and an impressive $5,000 award prize. The very generous prize was provided by the Challenge Ambassador, retired U.S. Air Force Colonel Joe Kittinger, who is the famed high-altitude balloon scientist. There were 2 balloons that were launched in this project, and they carried 139 CAP squadrons experiments. The 7 squadrons that participated from our wing were Burlington Composite Squadron, Moore County Squadron, Tar River, Goldsboro, Johnson County, Cunningham Field, and Brunswick County Composite Squadrons. Congratulations to all who participated, and I would say stay tuned for this year's High Altitude Balloon Challenge, which I believe is be more information shared by the end of this month. Next slide, please. Number 9, knowledge, experience, and leadership sets the NCO Corps apart. We're in North Carolina Wing very, very thankful to have very experienced NCOs in our wing to help us by guiding, executing, and achieving objectives for our CAP missions. And with Senior Master Sergeant Care on point, our NCOs show that they got their stuff and extremely essential during our ES training, encampment, drills, honor guard, color guard, and other activities in the squadrons and across the wing. They are the go-to members in squadrons and all the way up to the wing in terms of supporting commanders and members. These NCOs in North Carolina Wing set the example on which to follow. Thank you, Senior Care, and all of our NCOs in the wing. Next slide, please. Number 8, thanks to our Government Relations Advisor, Lieutenant Colonel Lynn Albert, and her team of senior members and cadets, amazing cadets, North Carolina Wing was able to meet virtually with all 15 of our North Carolina elected officials last year. Those are senators and congresswomen and congressmen during the 2021 legislative day session. For some of you who may not be too familiar with Legislative Day for Civil Air Patrol, it normally occurs in the early spring when all wings in Civil Air Patrol send representatives to Washington, D.C. to inform Congress about how CAP is basically spending their federal appropriations dollars and what our future requirements will be. And so meeting all 15 of North Carolina elected officials is an amazing achievement and something that was always very challenging when we had just one day in person on Capitol Hill to meet with all. So very thankful for being on course again for this year, and we have all 15 elected officials calendared to meet with them as well starting next week. Next slide, please. Number 7 on our amazing achievements. In 2021, roughly 20%, that's about 200 of our senior members, took advantage of CAP's new modular education and training capability, completed their advanced requirements and actually completed them such that they were able to promote to a higher grade. So this new E&T program absolutely gives a tremendous advantage to the training and skills development of our senior members. As just an example, during the time frame of October through December 2021, 85% of our senior members completed level 1 within 30 days of joining Civil Air Patrol, 85%. That's a tremendous advantage for our members because it allows them to be able to get up and running and participating in CAP activities and missions a whole lot quicker. So This ENT team in North Carolina Wing is led by Lieutenant Colonel Kathy Nicholas and Lieutenant Colonel Valerie Brown. This ENT team has been phenomenal as we've rolled out this new program for Civil Air Patrol. They've already produced many deliverables, ENT toolkits, newsletters. They had a very important ENT summit this past fall, and they've also created and rolled out an innovative subject matter expert, or SME, program for specialty tracks. That would help our members collaborate, connect, and communicate a whole lot more effectively. Next slide, please. Number 6, especially being the 80th anniversary of Civil Air Patrol in 2021, we were honored and privileged to present 2 Congressional Gold Medals to the families of past World War II Civil Air Patrol airmen. The late Lieutenant Colonel Phil Salee, one of the 2 North Carolina Wing historians that passed away this past November. The other was Lieutenant Colonel Joe Myers. Always enjoyed the opportunity to lead and coordinate these Congressional Gold Medals, as he was front and center with each and every award presented. The left photo on the bottom shows the medal being presented in honor of the late First Lieutenant Jesse Coltrane, a CAP pilot that served in 1942 to 1943 at Coastal Patrol Base 21 here in beautiful Beaufort, North Carolina. The presentation was made to Coltrane's grandson, Mr. Terry Newell. The right photo shows the medal presented in honor of the late Robert Humberson Miller, Jr. And that presentation was made to his son and daughter, Robert Miller III and Miss Vicky Duke. And as you can imagine, these medals were graciously received, and very, very thankful for Civil Air Patrol to remember their parent. And these medals express the appreciation and gratitude for CAP's role in protecting the United States homeland, especially along the coastline during World War II. Next slide, please. And number 5 of our achievements for 2021, our amazing air crews, as well as our premier operations and maintenance team, led by Lieutenant Colonel Matt Urbanek, Major Robert Call, and Lieutenant Colonel Marty Heller, and specifically Lieutenant Colonel Chris Bailey, who was at the helm leading the support of our special missions focus. And with their leadership, North Carolina Wing dramatically expanded its military partnerships and service with the United States Army, United States Air Force, and the North Carolina National Guard. We conducted joint air traffic controller training for 3 DoD units, accumulating more than 500 air sorties and utilizing more than 460 CAP North Carolina Wing personnel throughout the year. We also supported for the first time the Air Force 4th Fighter Wing's OSS, which is Operations Support Squadron, in conducting low-level route surveys. So with the help of 3 wings, North Carolina Wing, South Carolina Wing, Virginia Wing, and also our Mid-Atlantic staff, we in North Carolina Wing have roughly 30% of our flying, operational flying in 2021 was to support external missions, external customer missions. We're very thankful for the opportunity to serve with these DoD partners. Next slide. Pilot training is not trivial, and for those who have earned their ticket, they would definitely agree, and that goes for cadets as well as adults. In 2021, we had 4 cadets who kicked the tires and lit the fires and received their private pilot certificates. Congratulations to Cadet Colonel Ron Smith, who, by the way, is also now attending United States Air Force Academy, Cadet Colonel Graham Colley, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Cody Matthews, and Cadet Captain Anderson Wells. Well done, cadets. Next slide, please. And number 3, in 2021, encampment was an unprecedented success for North Carolina Wing. Despite all the challenges and limitations of COVID and all the appropriate safety protocols that were in place, we graduated 100% of our 81 cadets who started the week at encampment. And one more thing, everyone left encampment with 0 COVID cases. That is a success story. And as any successful program or event, it's the people that make it successful. Those serving as senior staff and cadre really stepped up to many of the challenges during encampment. And they did what they do best. They led and they set the example. And kudos go to the NCOs that attended encampment and hit the ground running at day one, contributed their insight and experience, and also really helped set the foundation for that week and set the expectations for a successful encampment. So NCOs are a force multiplier, and we're extremely proud to have them in our wing. I'd like to personally thank each and every one who participated in this encampment, because your dedication really made it memorable for our cadets, helped shape them for the rest of their lives. Next slide, please. Not 1, not 2, not 3, certainly not 4, but 5 North Carolina Wing cadets were presented with the Civil Air Patrol highest cadet achievement in 2021 in North Carolina Wing. They all earned the General Carl A. Spotts Award. Cadet Colonel Graham Colley, Cadet Colonel Ron Smith, Cadet Colonel Larry B. Holscher, Cadet Colonel Madeline Nagel, and Cadet Colonel Josh Gandy all received their Spotts Awards. Congratulations, Colonels. Our future is definitely in good hands with our cadets like these. CAP will continue to shape our youth future, and we will all benefit from it. Next slide, please. And number one amazing achievement for 2021 was, as we know, a very busy year last year for us in emergency services for our wing, but a very strong partnership with the North Carolina Emergency Management Division really enabled us to serve our North Carolinians. First, and leading off, we were very proud to be the 2021 award recipient of the Search and Rescue Mission Award presented by 1st Air Force. Our amazing members in the wing should really feel proud of the great work that they did to earn this prestigious award, and how their efforts and contributions are recognized. Now, whether it was FEMA or countywide vaccination center support, or missing persons, or ELT search and rescue missions, our partnership with NCEM continues to grow stronger and stronger all the time. In 2021, we conducted 7 search and rescue missions. Also had, of those, 6 finds and 2 saves. One of those saves became the first UAS categorized save in Civil Air Patrol. We keep pretty busy in this wing, and we're very thankful to have such an outstanding partner, emergency management, to work, as well as an amazing set of qualified members to support our state and nation. Next slide, please. So wrapping up, some of you may have heard of Admiral Bill McRaven. McRaven is a retired U.S. Navy 4-star admiral and a Navy SEAL. He served as the commander of the U.S. Special Operations Command. Admiral McRaven gave his now famous speech at the University of Texas commencement in 2014. And if you haven't seen this already, you need to look it up on the internet. He said, if you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. A little bit of humor there, but he goes on in his speech to talk about the challenges in life and how if you do the little things right, you'll accomplish something, and you'll change the world. Well, I think to use that same philosophy, what starts here in North Carolina Wing can change the world. And you change the world because you change by serving and volunteering to search for missing aircraft or missing persons. or joint training with our brothers and sisters in the Army, Air Force, and National Guard. You change the world by saving lives in North Carolina, where those that have gone missing or through natural disasters are thankful for what you do. And yes, we also change the world by developing our cadets to be the finest leaders for tomorrow. So yes, what starts here in North Carolina Wing changes the world. Let's keep doing the little things right because they matter. And we are making an impact to the world. 2022 will be a better year for us as we begin to see the light at the end of the pandemic. And I want to thank you for all of your dedication and service as members of North Carolina Wing. Your support for CAP and our amazing Carolina citizens and nation are phenomenal. Have a great conference. And next slide, please. And thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Angelovich. That was a fabulous recap of the year gone by, and I think I speak for everybody. It's an honor for us to serve with you. And if I said serve under you, you get annoyed at that, but we all serve together, and you've been an excellent leader. And obviously, we're honored to be with you on any journey you take. With that in mind, we will go to our gunny. We're going to go to Senior Master Sergeant Kerr, and if he's ready to go, we will have some words from him. He is our Wing Command NCO, and he is just lights out terrific. So gunny, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, North Carolina Wing. Brigadier General I, Colonel Bailey, Colonel Ragland, Colonel Blazich, Colonel Anglovich, Mr. Ray, Colonel Eggery, Chief Parsons, distinguished guests and visitors, fellow NCOs, and finally, but not least, members of the North Carolina Wing. It is an honor and a privilege to be before you on this day. It's been a year since our last conference, and a lot has happened. Unlike 2020, we have been able to enjoy the freedoms of returning to some resemblance of normalcy in our meetings and with our wing. Even though we may have some restrictions now, I have noticed how everyone has a more positive and upbeat attitude about our direction and what we can accomplish. It's great to see that members of our wing have been very creative on how they accomplish their mission and how they keep moving forward. In the past year, we have accomplished a lot despite the changes. We had an Exceptional Education and Training Summit organized by our dedicated team of E&T volunteers. We even managed to get several of our National Command team to participate. Our encampment went extremely well. We operated at reduced numbers, but our volunteer staff worked seamlessly together and we successfully graduated all the cadets. Fall Ranger Training Weekend was also another successful event. Again, our numbers were reduced, but we still managed to have a very successful ground team training event. There were a countless number of AOB missions and they just keep on coming. Our air crews are doing an outstanding job filling those needs.
Oh, God.
There are just a few of the larger activities that our wing managed to organize and execute successfully. Many of those squadrons were also very savvy and active in training weekends and small unit training. Essentially what I'm saying is that the members of North Carolina Wing, cadet and senior member alike, go above and beyond not only to perform a mission, but to also do what it takes to ensure that our members are well informed and well trained. 2022 is looking like another exceptional year for training opportunities. It is no small part to take on the challenge and responsibilities that go along with coordinating and developing a training event. North Carolina Wing personnel, time and time again, continually meet those challenges. One thing we need to all remember is that we're all volunteers. We each do what it takes in this program because we realize that there is something larger than us and that we can all be an effective part of it. We take pride in what we do and enjoy the fact that others can benefit from our participation. What I enjoy about being a CAP member, and more specifically a North Carolina Wing member, is a pleasure from learning from others and absorbing their energy to better myself. I encourage each of you to take on your own challenges and think about what it is and why you join the Civil Air Patrol and what makes you say. For the cadets, this message should resound more for you than the senior members. The senior members, we have our own ways of motivating ourselves and others. We draw off each other's energy and learn from those who take the initiative. Like you, we are continuously learning and willing to apply what we have learned from others. Difference being that we have many years of experience of doing it. As cadets, I encourage you to look into yourselves and find out what it is that drew you to CAP and what you hope to get out of it. Yet you also need to realize what you put into CAP, you will receive tenfold in return. Wise people said that CAP is a leadership laboratory where you get the opportunity to lead and make mistakes, yet have few repercussions other than the knowledge and mentorship to learn to be better. I highly encourage each of you to take on the personal challenge of becoming a leader. Finally, to the non-commissioned officers of the wing and to any other prior service members, thank you for your service and your dedication to this country, Civil Air Patrol, and the North Carolina Wing. Thank you. Have a good morning and enjoy the conference. Semper Fi.
Semper Fi, Gunny, thank you so much. It is now my pleasure to introduce into our conference the Mid-Atlantic Region Command Chief, Chief Master Sergeant Todd Bacon Parsons, for a few remarks, after which he will introduce our Region Vice Commander, Colonel Eugene Egri. Chief, it's all yours.
Good morning, North Carolina Wing. Greetings to our host commander, Colonel Angelovich, General A, Colonel Bailey, Colonel Ragland, Mr. Ray, Colonel Egri, and of course, Senior Master Sergeant Chris Kerr. This morning will be a little different for me because normally I speak something scripted to keep right on point, and I only speak for about 2 minutes. But this is my last event as your command chief of the region. And so with that, I'm just going to speak a little bit from the heart and just do this a little bit differently, okay? First of all, I want to talk about the North Carolina Wing. I'm originally from the Virginia Wing, and I don't care where you are in CAP. I don't care if you're the national commander or the national vice commander or wherever you are. Your home wing and your home squadron will always be close to your heart. That's just the way it is, okay? It's the same way in the military. But I have to tell you, even though I'm a Virginia person, that out of all of them and all the time I've been the command chief of the region, North Carolina Wing stands out as probably my favorite wing in the people that I've met there and the level of the things that you do, the capabilities that are generated, and the missions that are actually accomplished. I just want to talk about the fact that, you know, number one, your flying stats, the getting out there and doing those things. Your emergency services missions are hands down second to none. You have the strongest NCO Corps in the region, thanks to Senior Master Sergeant Kerr. Your cadet programs are just wonderful. Every time I go to your encampments, I just walk away saying, man, that's a great idea, all these things. And your aerospace program is just phenomenal, okay? It just, you know, it really makes me want to open the books and learn even more. And, you know, they say there's proof in the pudding, right? And the fact that you have produced from this wing some of what I call some of our giants in CAP since I've joined. For instance, like Colonel Larry Ragland. You know, yeah, he was your wing commander, but he was also the region commander. He was a national chief of staff. He was currently on the board, the national board. You turn around, you have your last wing commander, Colonel Bailey, who's a national executive officer. Chief Master Sergeant Lou Walpus was a national command chief, and she was the founder of the NCO Corps for CAP, our modern NCO Corps. And then currently the ones that just pop up to the top of my head, of course, Colonel Angelovich. Sir, it's been really wonderful serving with you. You're an excellent, awesome officer. I've seen professionalism that comes from you that I haven't even seen from some actual active duty officers. Gunny Chris Kerr, Senior Master Sergeant Kerr, another phenomenal NCO, does the real thing. You really, really set the example, and I'm so proud of you. Colonel Kearns, sir, amazing. I want to talk about Major Doug Moody, and of course, his personal boss, Major Patricia Fisk Moody. Amazing, amazing folks, North Carolina. And I'd be remiss if I also didn't mention Senior Master Sergeant Emaus. You talk about a real NCO, that's an NCO of NCOs right there. Now, and of course, I'm going to give a final shout out to Captain Roger Askew. Let me tell you something, folks. For you cadets out there who are used to him and his great mentorship, and I know he can really fill a room with, you know, his presence, and he has a lot to say. I'll tell you what, he did that to me in the Army too, and I turned out okay. So if I were you, I would listen very closely to him, and he's a real gem and a treasure that you have down there. So I want to talk my farewell. This is my last time I get to actually speak in public as the command chief of the Mid-Atlantic region. And so I enjoyed being the chief. It was probably the greatest honor of my CAP career so far. Traveling throughout the region has been amazing, but like I said, coming to North Carolina has always had a very special place in my heart. I'm looking forward to my new national job. Like you heard, I was selected to be the National Command Chief, and I really look forward to working with General Falca and General A and Colonel Bailey. I leave you with this, that the NCO relationship with a commander is unique, very unique within not only the military, but CAP. And I've been very fortunate to be wingman with some really great folks, and starting with Colonel John Knowles, who hired me directly and asked me to stop being a CAP major and a squadron commander. And I took him up on that and became a chief instead. And it was a wonderful, wonderful experience jumping up there into something I hadn't done, especially in CAP. And then to Colonel Bruce Heinlein, our current region commander and my chief wingman now. I haven't felt this way since I was in the military. What a great experience, just being thick as thieves with the commander. So now I'm really going to get down to why I'm here. My entire reason really for being and talking to you right now is to introduce the next person, the speaker. I want to talk a little bit about Colonel Eugene Egri. Colonel Egri is, you know, he started out when I was a brand new command chief, and I really didn't know anything about working up at the region level. He was the chief of staff, and he took me under his wing. So I was more his wingman. He really took care of me. We've been together through 2 commanders, and I want to say that he was also at my Army retirement as well at Arlington National Cemetery. So through all, sir, I just want to say that it's been a real pleasure working with you. You've been a real wingman of wingmen. I look forward to working with you in the future again. And to all the Mid-Atlantic region, I say farewell. I love you all. I'm still with you, but just at the next level. It was a pleasure serving with all of you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bacon. And if we could get Colonel Egri's mic up and camera up, and sir, you are on.
All right. Can I get a thumbs up if I'm able to be heard and seen?
Looking good, sir.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Chief is a hard act to follow, and I will echo the absolute honor it has been working with him, what he's done for the region, for each of the wings as he's served. True example of servant leadership. And I am proud, very proud, and I'm echoing Colonel Heinlein as well, that he was chosen to be the next National Command Chief. Couldn't have been a better selection. And I know there was some very important, well-experienced folks out there. So, you know, for him to get that job really shows, you know, what he has in terms of leadership experience and knowledge. As Chief said, I'm Colonel Gene Egri. I'm the Mid-Atlantic Region, excuse me, Vice Commander. Colonel Heinlein asked me to pass along his regrets for not being able to attend today. I think he's going to try to pop in now and then if his schedule permits. But unfortunately, during a scheduling conflict, he was trying to be on earlier and it didn't work out. And he had to go and take care of some work commitments. He wanted me to make sure that everybody knew his intent. He really was trying to be here, and he's sorry that he couldn't be here for this initial briefing. I only get about 10 minutes. I was told maximum 10 minutes for the comments, so I'm definitely going to be brief here, folks. I wanted to say thank you and give a little bit of perspective. First, Civil Air Patrol, Mid-Atlantic Region, North Carolina Wing leadership values and appreciates you. You are important to us. These are very unique times. You've chosen to dedicate your time to CAP and to be here today. I don't know about you, but I'm a little bit tired of hearing the term new normal. We've heard it several times. You hear it probably every day from folks. You know, what is normal anyway, right? So if you look in the dictionary, it says normal as a noun, it's the usual, average, or typical state or condition. That's quote unquote normal. Well, our missions, Civil Air Patrol's missions, especially emergency services, deal with events that are not normal. CAP members are trained to apply critical thinking skills and that training to accomplish our missions with excellence. In a sense, we train for the unknown and the unexpected. A perfect example is North Carolina Wing. You all had a find and a save with a UAS on a missing person mission this past December. All that, you're continuing to do your missions, all that in the middle of COVID. So I am proud to state that COVID has not slowed down CAP and North Carolina Wing. Very proud of that. So just a few moments I'd like to spend on a topic, stress. I'll talk a little bit about stress. So especially now with all the uncertainty, folks are dealing with possible financial issues, family health concerns, the amount of stress that we've been experiencing, and unfortunately a lot of folks have been internalizing, has dramatically increased. First off, everyone experiences stress. It is part of everyday life. Stress is a feeling of emotional or physical tension, if you will. Give you an example. I experienced some stress this morning when I was told that there was a scheduling conflict. I had to jump in and do this briefing on behalf of Colonel Heinlein and put the comments together. I will tell you, Colonel Heinlein is a very hard act to follow. For those of you who had the opportunity and the honor to hear him speak, he is an outstanding speaker and orator. So I hope that I can at least come up a little bit to his level here. So back to stress. It's our body's reaction to a challenge or a demand. It is okay to admit that you have stress. Actually, this is the first part of dealing with it. So what should you do with it? Well, channel that stress in a very positive direction. Use it, not to your disadvantage, but to your advantage. Use it as an incentive to motivate and focus yourself on learning new things and applying those new things to your personal growth. Remember, what you do matters for your country and your community. Enjoy the rest of the conference. I really look forward to seeing you all soon, one day soon, at an upcoming event, an in-person event. Thank you. Have a great day, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It's always an honor to have Colonel Egri with us. I will tell you that you heard everyone talking about wingmen. Everyone's got a wingman. You never know where they'll come from. I had never met Colonel Egri until about 3-4 years ago. Whatever year it was, I was the chief of staff. It was my first time sitting on a dais, and everybody started coming up with questions and problems and issues. And I looked at him and I said, "Is this what it's like?" He says, "You're not the chief of staff. You're the chief of stuff." And then it was after that, he says, "If you need anything, call me," which I did. The amount of support we can get from the people around us is just, don't be afraid to ask those folks. They are out there and they're more than willing to help you. And so it's great that he's here. I mean, Colonel Heinlein is missed. He would have been terrific, but Colonel Egri, you're not the second banana, believe me. You did a great job and we'd always appreciate you. So what we're going to do, we're running just a little bit early. So we're going to take a break. Be about 15 minutes or so. We're going to have a slide up. The slide will tell you when to be back at your computers. As Colonel Angelovich would say, now's the time to recharge your coffee or whatever fluids you might be using this morning. Get some refreshments. You want to be back, and we're going to be having some more remarks. We're going to have Will Ray will be speaking. We're going to have a lot of really cool stuff coming up later, and of course the seminars and then awards tonight. So everybody take a break, relax, enjoy. We'll see you back in just a few minutes, and thanks so much for attending the 2022 Wing Conference. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for being prompt and being back from the break. Hope you've charged up your beverage of choice. And we're going to forge on. I want to just make sure we have an interesting rest of the morning. We're going to have a couple speakers. We'll do some awards, and then we'll get you over into the seminars. And you all have the links for that. You can do that. And then at 5 o'clock, 1700, we'll go into the award session for about an hour and a half or so. It's going to be a fun day. And so we're going to go ahead. I want to make sure, let me just see if I can just see this. Will Ray, you with us?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, that's why I didn't. There you are. Hang on one second. We are pleased and honored to have with us today Mr. Will Ray, the Director of the Division of Emergency Management, North Carolina Department of Public Safety. Previously having served as both Chief of Staff and then the Deputy Director, Mr. Ray was and is still responsible for overseeing complex programs, senior government interagency coordination, and development and implementation of strategic priorities, initiatives, and plans, and all that's before coffee in the morning. Mr. Ray, I appreciate you taking the time to join us, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. Well, good morning, everyone, and really thank you for having me. It really is a privilege to be here. I know since I've come in August with COVID and other events ongoing, I've not had the opportunity to get out and about quite as much as I had wanted to at the beginning. So look forward to being with many of you at future events such as this, at trainings, and certainly we will see you when the flag goes up and we have a response here in the state. I do want to say it is an honor to be with you today. It is truly humbling for me when you think about the fact that the Civil Air Patrol began 80 years ago in the early days of World War II with the mission of improving the nation's defenses. After the war ended, this amazing institution didn't cease to exist. Instead, it adapted and evolved and became a renowned public service organization. And it's one in which we often turn in times of need, especially here in North Carolina, certainly as many of you know. Looking back on 2021, the North Carolina wing of the Civil Air Patrol was active and took on many critical missions. I know this includes 3 missions to find emergency locator transmitters, and you found each of them. After you held your search and rescue exercise in September using your UAS platform, partnered with a Cessna and your ground team, wasn't long after that on one of your 4 search and rescue missions that the wing used its small UAS for the first time. This is a great way to use technology to help and protect and aid our communities across the state. And you showed once again your willingness to grow and change with the times, to not just remain relevant, but to lead, and know that we are incredibly proud of all of you and incredibly proud of this partnership. Your response efforts during COVID have been nothing short of exemplary. This includes assisting 10 of our counties across North Carolina throughout the spring and fall of 2021 at vaccination sites. Additionally, we had CAP personnel working daily in the federally supported state-run mass vaccination site in Greensboro for the duration of the time that it was operational, and you were an incredible force multiplier for an operation that provided over 143,000 doses to North Carolinians that needed it. I think the great cooperation between the North Carolina Civil Air Patrol and North Carolina Emergency Management has garnered interest across the nation, with other states who are interested in replicating this relationship. This includes the Kansas wing of CAP, who met with Emergency Management and the North Carolina wing leadership in November to discuss continued partnership. This is a tribute to the incredible work that all of you are doing every day and the fantastic partnership that we have. I do quickly want to touch on several critical items from the North Carolina Emergency Management perspective since we have folks this morning. I think many of you are aware we're currently in the process of updating our strategic plan, which includes our priorities for the next several years and a top to bottom review of our mission, vision, and values. It's vital that your input is heard as a part of this process. As we think about where we are headed for the future as the division and as the state emergency response team, CAP is a critical response partner and one at the forefront, and we need your input and feedback. And again, we'll make sure that the wing leadership and other staff have that information so that you can provide input and feedback. As I've stepped into this new role, although some folks are saying it's not necessarily new since it was back in August, it seems like time has flown. There are several mission areas that we are focusing on that I just wanted to highlight for folks. First, I think we need to continue to improve our recovery and mitigation processes to decrease barriers and increase speed of service and program delivery to better help those in need. Second, and you are a part of this, we also want to sustain our critical all hazards preparedness response capabilities, such as CAP, hazardous materials, swiftwater, and helo-aquatic rescue, our tactical communications program, and our search and rescue program, which, again, the wing here in North Carolina is an instrumental part of. Third, and I think this is really one of our growth points, is we need to expand our homeland security partnerships, particularly in critical infrastructure protection with the private sector, with our intelligence integration, and certainly on the cybersecurity front. And while we're on cybersecurity, I do want to acknowledge the Cyber Patriot team, who did very well this season. I know despite many obstacles, including our COVID restrictions. Congratulations to the Raleigh Wake Composite Squadron for their 4th place in CAP National and 1st place in the state and 6th place in their division. I also want to recognize that the North Carolina Wing had 7 high school teams qualify for the Cyber Patriot Regional Round, which is an impressive accomplishment in the midst of where we are with COVID and everything those teams had going on. Best of luck to our partners in the Union County Cyber Patriot team as they move on to the national finals this year. I know this was a tough competition with Union County squeezing by Raleigh Wake to continue on to the national finals. To all of you that are a part of the CAP Cyber program, thank you for your diligence to protect yourself, your families, and employers. And I do want to say, you are the future leaders in cybersecurity for our military and civilian employers. As I close out this morning, I'm not sure how many North Carolinians recognize your efforts in emergency response. It's not just showing up during an event, but the training that's involved in order to respond appropriately and safely. And this can be burdensome for volunteers. It takes time away from jobs, from families, and certainly interrupts other obligations. Especially right now, I know trainings can be difficult with COVID restrictions, but I encourage you to stick with it, stay focused on the mission, and continue training and preparing because you do make a difference. Your efforts to help the communities you serve is commendable, and on behalf of the North Carolina Division of Emergency Management and the Department of Public Safety, I want to say thank you for your service to the state and what you do to protect all North Carolinians. Thank you very much for having me this morning. I look forward to being able to get out and see many of you at trainings or events later this year, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of your conference.
Mr. Ray, thank you for joining us and for actually allowing us to be a partner in our mutual goal of serving our communities all across North Carolina. It's a great partnership, a great relationship, and it's almost the old thing about it's a shame we have to meet this way, but I'm glad that when we all get together, we can accomplish the common goal, and it always turns out as well as can be expected. Let's put it that way. Our next guest actually is Colonel Frank Blazich. He lives in North Carolina, but we wish. He lives in Northern Virginia. He's received 5, count them 5, Civil Air Patrol Distinguished Service Awards for his work with the history program. He holds a master rating, of course, as a CAP historian. Has a doctorate in history from Ohio State University, OH, and previously served as historian of the Ohio Wing. He is the editor of Baton Survivor, a POW's account of Japanese captivity in World War II, and the author of An Honorable Place in American Air Power, Civil Air Patrol Coastal Patrol Operations 1942 to 1943. He works as a curator of modern military history at the Smithsonian Institution's National Museum of American History in the nation's capital, and most recently has served CAP as director of the Moore Center. I got to tell you, we've heard him, but some of us have been fortunate to hear him before, so if you think history is dry and kind of flat and boring, you've never met our next guest, please welcome to the podium Colonel Frank Blazich. Sir, it's all yours.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for a very humbling introduction. It's a pleasure to be with you all this morning. I hope things are well warmer down in North Carolina. Up here in Alexandria, it's a bit chilly, but we're supposed to get into the 60s. I'm a native of Raleigh, actually. My dad was a professor of horticultural science at North Carolina State University. I don't know if we have anyone here who attends Enloe High School in Raleigh or knows of Enloe. I'm an Enloe Eagle, so howdy, everyone. Also, I went to North Carolina State University and UNC Chapel Hill. So depending where your loyalty lies, either or, there you had it. Before I really talk any further, I wanted to say Lieutenant Colonel Phil Salid, Lieutenant Colonel Joe Myers were friends. They were some of my first mentors when I came into Civil Air Patrol. To lose them as quickly as we did back to back has just been hammer blows to me. Just tremendous gentlemen who did a huge amount of unsung work in North Carolina, preserving the history of the Civil Air Patrol. Phil put together a fantastic display down at the North Carolina Maritime History Museum there in Beaufort. I don't know if anyone ever had a chance to see it, but it was simply outstanding. Joe did huge work in Asheville for his squadron, and both were National Historians of the Year, I believe, in 2010 and 2011. Just tremendous, tremendous gentlemen, real patriots, both veterans of the armed forces who gave untold hours to Civil Air Patrol in North Carolina. So I do ask that, please never forget them and the contributions they did, not just for CAP history, but really for the North Carolina wing. But I don't want to start things off on too somber a note. So how about a little fun history? North Carolina wing really was the first wing in CIP I ever studied. Being from North Carolina, I knew about the base at Manteo, now Dare County Regional Airport. My dad took me to the little museum there in the operations building, which if you haven't been, I highly recommend it. And that really started my journey and got me interested in everything. It's remarkable when you think that during World War II, North Carolina ran both of these coastal patrol bases, and the obstacles they overcame at Manteo and Beaufort are simply incredible. In the case of Manteo, they literally took the trees that had been cut down to clear what is now currently Dare County Regional Airport, which was Manteo Naval Auxiliary Air Station, Manteo. They took the discarded lumber, took it down to Buffalo City, had it cut up to make the boards to build their own hangars. At Beaufort and Base 21, Major Frank Dawson, who was both the base commander and also concurrently the North Carolina Wing Commander, he had to make an airfield out of marshland. So at high tide, the fields were flooded. He was able to go up to Raleigh, to the North Carolina General Assembly, get an appropriation for $15,000 to not only help build Base 21, but professionalize Base 16. Then he went to the Civil Aeronautics Administration and actually got the funds to properly pave three 5,000 foot runways down there at Beaufort, at what is now Michael J. Smith Field. It was really the North Carolina wing that made a professional airport down there in Beaufort, and something that perhaps not everyone knows, but is something that the North Carolina wing can really hang their hat on. And it's one of the few examples of if not the only example, of a coastal patrol base that, under the foresight and the vision of Dawson, took something that was only intended as a temporary airfield and made it permanent and continue to serve the community to this day. Well, those are just sneak peeks at the talk that I'm going to be giving this afternoon. And I was told to kind of give a little teaser. So there's a fun teaser for everybody. But again, thank you all for having me. I really look forward to it. We have some tremendous speakers here. We just have a tremendous community of attendees. And most of all, let's have fun. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. When do you ever hear a historian say, let's have fun? I mean, that's great. He is, if you have a chance to get his seminar later, you'll really enjoy it. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to actually segue over to some ACRE awards, which is a cute way of just reminding Colonel Egri and Chief Parsons that we're going to be doing that. We're going to be presenting actually 4 of them to some real deserving individuals. It will be Colonel Egri sitting in right now for Colonel Heinlein, who will be actually making the presentation along with Chief Master Sergeant Todd Parsons. Before they do that, for those of you who don't know, the General Ira C. ACRE Award is the CAP Cadet Program's 2nd most prestigious award and honors one of the forefathers of an independent Air Force, with General then Major Carl Spaatz. In 1929, ACRE remained aloft aboard the Question Mark, a modified Atlantic Fokker C-2A, for nearly a week to demonstrate a newfound capability of aerial refueling. During World War II, ACRE rose to the grade of Lieutenant General, commanded the 8th Air Force, the mighty 8th, of strategic bombers. Even as a general, ACRE preferred to lead from the front, personally flying B-17 precision bombing missions over occupied France and Germany. The ACRE Award marks completion of Phase 4 of the CAP Cadet Program, recognizing sustained excellence in all 4 areas of cadet life: leadership, aerospace, fitness, and character. Further, cadets will have graduated from an academically intense leadership academy to qualify for this honor, which is especially appropriate considering that today the Air Force celebrates General Aker's legacy by naming the service's top school for commanders in his honor, the Ira C. Aker Center for Professional Development at Air University in Maxwell Air Force Base, Alabama. To stand in General Aker's shadow is to study leadership carefully and to serve others. To further illustrate the significance of this accomplishment, only Aker Awards have been presented since the award's inception in 1998. Once a cadet earns the General Ira C. Aker Award, he or she is promoted to the grade of Cadet Lieutenant Colonel and is challenged to lead and serve junior ranking cadets, not just in the hometown squadron, but around the wing as well. As after earning the Aker Award, only the prestigious Spots Award examination remains for the young person to conquer as a CAP cadet. Interesting, we have 4 award winners for the Aker. One of the ones from last year actually did go on to get the spots this year, and we'll get to that in a little bit. I'm going to give you just a quick rundown of those 4, and then we'll let Colonel Egri and the chief say some words about this and make the kind of virtual presentation. First one is Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Landon Roseberry. He's been a member of Civil Air Patrol since May of 2016. He achieved his Wright brothers in 2017, his Billy Mitchell in 2018, his Amelia Earhart in 2019. Has attended 1 North Carolina Wing summer encampment, is slotted to be on the executive staff for the upcoming summer encampment. He currently serves as the cadet commander of NC-162, the Iredale Composite Squadron. So congratulations to Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Roseberry. Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Chloe Patterson has been a member of the Civil Air Patrol since May of 2015. She achieved her Wright brothers in 2017, her Billy Mitchell in 2019, her Amelia Earhart in 2020. She's attended 2 North Carolina Wing summer encampments, the North Carolina Wing Rich Auger National Flight Academy, and the Air Force Specialized Undergraduate Pilot Training Course, or as we all like to think of it as the AFSUPTC. So congratulations to Chloe as well. Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Nathan Roberts has been a member of the Civil Air Patrol since February of 2018. It's only been 4 years. He achieved his Wright brothers in that same year, 2018, Billy Mitchell next year, 2019, Amelia Earhart in 2020, 3 North Carolina Wing summer encampments. He has been selected for the executive staff of the upcoming summer encampment. He's a past commander of NC-123, that's NC-023, the Cape Fear Composite Squadron, and currently serves as your Cadet Deputy Commander for Support. And our 4th cadet to receive the Aker today is Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Carter Moore. He's been a member of CAP since July of 2016, Wright brothers in 2017, Billy Mitchell 2018, Amelia Earhart in 2019, 2 summer encampments. The NCSA Engineering Technologies Academy at MTSU, and in 2021 was Activity Director of ETech. His home squadron is NC-143, the Johnson County Composite Squadron. So with that in mind, 4 amazing young people, Colonel Egri, if you'd like to make some mention and present those awards, I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we'll have Chief say a few words after I say my few words. First off, I want to congratulate all 4 cadets. Usually when I have to stand in for the region commander to do an Aker presentation, and Chief has been on several of them with me, I try to find out some fun facts on each of the cadets. And I go to your family, and they're usually very forthcoming with some pretty interesting fun facts. Unfortunately, didn't have the time to do that. However, I am hoping that sometime in the future I will get to see you in person, and you can share something with me. So folks, unfortunately, I can't share any kind of amusing fun facts on any of the cadets, but I can share how big of a deal this is. This is the kind of award that it requires a region commander, vice commander, member of command staff to present the award. That means we get in an airplane and go to where you are. We'll get in a vehicle and go to where you are, because this is a big deal. And I want everybody at this conference to hear that, how big of a deal this is. You only have the spots ahead of that, which is even a bigger deal. But I will tell you, I'm sorry that we don't have the opportunity to do this in person. Everybody knows why. However, it's still a big deal. I'm here, Chief is here, and I couldn't be more proud of you. I was a cadet myself, earned the Acre Award myself back in the day, and it was tough. It was tough. So what you all have done was a significant effort. I hope that all of you colonels, lieutenant colonels, become colonels and achieve your spots. But on behalf of the region commander, Colonel Heinlein, who I know loves to do these presentations, we couldn't be more proud of you. So congratulations. And if I had the certificate, I'd hold it up and give it to you, shake your hand, give you a region coin. So hopefully next time I see you, I can put a region coin in your hands. So congratulations. I'll turn it over to Chief.
Hey, folks, look, I'm not going to overshadow anything that my wingman just said. He hit all the key points, and I can't really follow that up. But as a member of the command team myself of the region, on behalf of Colonel Heinlein and Colonel Agri, I just want to say congratulations. I will tell you that I spent many a year in the military, and I can really tell you that the accomplishment that you achieved is on par with something that very few, even in the military, would be able to achieve, with the amount of things that you had to do, the amount of study, the dedication, and that perseverance that you did. So I challenge you, okay, to keep on in the Civil Air Patrol, okay? All that energy and perseverance you did to keep on going to achieve your spots. And if this is your last stop, that's fine. I just ask that you stay with us, okay? There is no such thing as the dark side, which I keep on hearing about. It's only dark over there because you're not there, okay? So congratulations, job well done. Couldn't be prouder of you, okay? Thanks for everything. Bacon.
I love when he says that. Bacon. Okay, well, I appreciate that. And I think we're going to, we're running a lot faster than normal, which is okay. You know, it's better than running late. I'm going to ask Colonel Agri just to hang nearby. We're going to try something a little different. We have one spots award. The individual is out of the country, so we're just going to make mention of it here because it deserves to be mentioned. But I thought after I say this little bit here, maybe Colonel Agri can just mention something about the importance of the spots award and just what that really does mean. Having been a cadet, he can probably do that. The spots award winner that we would have had if he had been here is Cadet Colonel Gavin Valak. He joined Civil Air Patrol in 2013. He achieved his Wright brothers in 2014, his Billy Mitchell in 15, Earhart in 16, and his Acre back in 2019. His spots was actually earned in 2021. He attended 3 North Carolina wing encampments, NISA, Hawk Mountain Ranger, and the Air Force Pararescue and Survival Orientation Course. He's not here because he's currently attending at a university actually in Spain. His spots award will be presented in Spain, believe it or not, in the very near future. We are absolutely proud of him, as we are with all cadets, and I thought that we should acknowledge this while we're all together at a conference. He will not have us with him in Spain, unfortunately, but I thought maybe this would be a good time for Colonel Agri just to say a few words about what it is to get to the spots. Sir, would you mind?
It would be my honor. I personally had not achieved the spots award. Unfortunately, I aged out, as they say, and got to be 21 years old. It's nice to see a fellow Ranger. I'm an expert Ranger myself. I'm looking at the picture, but he was only a captain back then. He was, looks like an R1 tab there. So hopefully you've either gotten your advanced Ranger or you're going to head towards your black belt. Good job there. I know there are several folks that are on the call right now, one of them being our National Vice Commander, Brigadier General Regina A. And if she's available to come off of mute, I think it would be wonderful to hear her, being a fellow Spotson. She received her spots as well. Maybe just spend a minute talking about the award. So I'll just hold for 1 second and see if she has the ability to get off mute. And she may not have the conference presenter link, so sorry about that. Okay, well, let's put it this way, folks, and I know she's listening right now. So that's number one. We have Lieutenant Colonel Foki, who's a Spots Award winner. So there are several folks that have earned the Spots Award that are either on this call or have had the honor to present the Spots Award. I said that the Acre Award was a big deal. This is obviously a bigger deal. This requires, a general officer or some state senator, something really big. There's not many. Look at the number there, number 2,375. How old is CAP? How old is the CAP cadet program? Only 2,375 Spots Awards. It's not an easy test. I can attest to that myself. And it just shows mastery of the cadet program. Not to stand on top of something that Chief said, but I think it's extremely relevant here. And that is the folks who receive the Spots Award. You are the folks that we really hope stay on and become a senior member. That's not to say that other cadets that have achieved other levels of awards. However, as a cadet achieving the spots, you have the ability to come in at a more advanced grade in the senior program, and we need you. We need the Acre cadets. We need the Earhart cadets. We need you folks to come over and really help with the senior program. So that's my little commercial spot for that. Being one myself, it's not easy to take all those wonderful ribbons that you've earned as a cadet and take them off and replace them with just a couple that you wear as a senior. But you know what? It's a little bit of humility, but it also helps you focus on the servant leadership and why we're really here to do this. So congratulations, Colonel Black. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you sometime in the future. With that, I am finished. Thank you.
Colonel Edgery, thanks so much for just jumping in there without any notice. I really do appreciate that's what good wing people do. Wingmen can jump in and take over. That's fabulous. I do appreciate that. And I wish the cadet was here. He would have liked to hear those words. And it's an amazing achievement. You're right. When you look at the numbers, it's just the percentage is just literally amazing. Let me just take a look at one thing real quick here. Captain Lane, do we have that letter slide ready to go?
Yes, sir. I believe I have it.
Yeah, we'll pop that up there. What's interesting, we actually received a letter from the governor, Governor Roy Cooper, and I'm going to read it because that's a little tough to read. But I think this tells you the impact that we have and that Will Ray was talking about earlier. It's from the governor. It says, "Dear Civil Air Patrol, the state of North Carolina thanks you for your 80 years of service and continuous dedication of not just protecting North Carolina, but the United States. Since the Civil Air Patrol's formation shortly before World War II, you all have set yourselves apart during the country's most tumultuous times including deterring enemy submarine operations during World War II, supporting the Air Force's Ground Observer Corps with tracking suspected enemy aircraft in the 50s, heavily supporting hurricane relief efforts in the 60s to the present day, assisting rescuers and state agencies immediately following the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks, and providing an array of support nationwide in response to the COVID-19 pandemic in its largest sustained operation since World War II. Simply amazing. From beginning as a nonprofit civilian organization to now a total force partner and auxiliary of the U.S. Air Force, we thank you for staying true to your core values of integrity, volunteer service, excellence, and respect. Signed, yours very truly, Roy Cooper governor. I think that's fabulous. And maybe we should put this out there somewhere. Maybe everybody wants a copy of that. I know I would. It's just a great letter, and it tells you a lot. It's what it's all about. But basically, we're running a little ahead. We're actually running a lot ahead, which is good. Gives you guys a little chance to get a little more of a break before we start the seminars. So at this point, this is going to conclude the 2022 North Carolina Wing General Assembly portion of the conference. The seminar schedule will be coming up shortly. You'll see that there's a slide coming up there. It was also in the document that was sent to you yesterday. If you have trouble with connectivity, you can go to the hangar section for support. As a reminder, the recognition and awards assembly and the wing commander's closing remarks will begin at 1700. I want to thank you all and our speakers today for providing a very meaningful and energizing comments. I want you to enjoy your day, take a little rest, recharge, come on back for the seminars and for the late afternoon that we have set up for you and planned. I think you'll have a really good time. In that case, we're going to sign off for now, and we'll see you a little bit later. But don't forget, look at that seminar slide, and we'll see you at the first one. Thank you so much.